everybody, and welcome back. I am the Sovereign, and this is my court. If this is your first time in attendance, welcome. Please consider hitting the subscribe button before you leave our kingdom. Happy preliminary day, everybody. I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and prelims started at 8:45 California time. So I was up early to get my coffee, to get my breakfast, to just be ready. And some of you are well aware of how ready I was because for the first time ever, I actually did a live viewing of the preliminary competition with the fans. And when I say live, I mean live on Instagram Live in real time. We watched it together. And the best part is those videos of me reacting live and writing down my list live with you guys and talking about all the tea and everything is still posted on my Instagram. It is 3 parts of the entire competition. So if you sync up the videos with the Miss Universe live stream that is still on YouTube, you can actually watch me in real time reacting to the girls and watching the competition for the first time. It is the best thing ever, and it was really fun. So I probably will do this again. So for those of you who missed out on all of the fun we had during the live stream and chit-chatting and talking about my list before I put it up on YouTube, sorry you missed out on that, but make sure you go find me on Instagram and hit the follow button so the next time I do that or have any type of live streams, because I do like to live stream, you will be notified. The links to my Instagram are in the description box, and maybe I will make it the pinned comment of this video so it's easily accessible to everybody. You can just click the link and come find me so you don't miss out on anything. Now, yes, we had a lot of fun during the live stream on Instagram, and I do have to cue the rest of you in on what went down. Those of you who are in the live stream, you guys know the tea, right? So much fun. Okay, look, can you tell how excited I am? Yes, I am feeling better, by the way. God, it feels so good to not be sick. I miss being me. I finally get to do my makeup, because before I didn't even have energy enough to do my makeup, and now I finally do. Are you focused, camera? Don't give me problems here, okay? So let's talk about the production. I really like the stage. The stage is great. It's very creative. It's very beautiful. It's very Miss Universe worthy. The way the stage is set up is almost in a figure 8 pattern, and it makes it really easy for the entrances and exits of the girls, instead of them walking right next to each other or distracting the audience from another girl who's coming out. It's a circle so that they are able to just make a full, okay, paperwork falling on the floor there. I've made 6 different lists, 6. I've rewritten and reformulated, and they just fell on the ground, but I'll get them in a second. Anyways, so yeah, the way the stage is set up makes it really easy for entrances and exits of the ladies, and it makes it in a way that it's not so distracting. The primary focus of us viewing the contestants is during the first half of their performance. We really don't see much of the contestants after they do their ending final face and then walk off. We automatically switch over to a new girl. So this is a good thing to note for this competition when it comes to finals and future competitions. So those of you who are members of the court who may be competing next year on an international stage, particularly Miss Universe, keep in mind, usually for all international competitions, the first half of your performance is the most important part. The audience and the judges likely don't see much of you leaving off stage, but when you come on stage, that's where the camera's really going to focus on you. So that's where you really need to be doing the most. I did see some girls, as they were walking off, they were still kind of performing, which is great, as you should, but we don't get to see too much of that as an audience. We're already focused on the next girl. So really pay attention to the first half of your performance. Moving into the judges, I was once again dismayed to see that we had an entire table full of female judges. I don't know how many times I have to state this. I don't know what I have to do to prove this. I don't understand why the Miss Universe organization doesn't get it. Number one, the fan base for the Miss Universe competition and all international pageants is substantially male. This is not a female-dominated competition, though it is a female-dominated competitor competition, meaning all the competitors are women. A large majority of the fan base is not. And not only is it important to acknowledge those fans, it's important to show that men have the ability to uplift and uphold strong women. It's important to see that level of support coming from men, because the way that the judges table is set up right now, it really just seems like this is a competition for women, by women, with women, all about women. And it makes it seem as if we're trying to exclude men. And I have said this many times. When I make pageant videos, 70, 80% of the fan base and the accounts that are watching my videos are men. It's men. And it's not like men trying to like oogle the girls and watch like sexy women in bikinis. It's very involved, very knowledgeable, dedicated fans who really want to uplift and watch these women. They're here for the love of the sport and the love of the girls, not to just watch sexy babes. It truly like bothers me that we can't get a male judge. It truly does. We can have a male host maybe, but we can't have a male judge. Can we have one? Why can't we have one? Where it would still be an issue if we didn't have that level of diversity when it came to the different types of women that are on the panel. If all the women on the panel were from one country or from one background or one ethnicity, it would still be a problem. So we pay attention to diversity in every aspect except for gender, and I think that's stupid. That is stupid. Please, can we have one male judge? I would very much like to see a man sitting beside women, watching women, empowering women, uplifting and upholding women, and showing respect to these competitors. That is a very important visual. Please and thank you. Into the swimwear competition. I hate those little cover up, cover all, cover whatever the hell that cheetah print thing is. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And it's funny because when I went and I was like, oh, I should wear earrings today. And I saw these earrings and they kind of had like the same pattern. I was like, let's just wear these earrings in honor of how much I hate that freaking cover up thing. Who made that decision, and fire them? Who made that creative decision, because they lack any sort of creativity? And like, no, it was a no. And I understand what that person probably was going for. If you look closely to the swimsuits that the ladies were wearing, which weren't the swim, like honestly, the swimwear, the styling, swimsuit competition was just not good styling wise, period. It wasn't good. It was just not good. But if you go back and look closely at the swimwear, there are these gigantic 2010 era giant belt buckles that are on many of the swimsuits, and those belt buckles are like leopard cheetah print type deal, which matched the cover up that the ladies were using. But it's such a small, minute detail that it really didn't do too much to tie in the overall look. And the cover up was just bad. It was an awkward length. It was a very loud pattern. It just didn't mesh well at all. It didn't really add much. And I enjoy the flow when we have those cover-ups. I enjoy the flow. I enjoy the level of difficulty that it forces the girls to step up to, because handling a fabric, handling another piece of clothing can be difficult and distracting for a lot of the ladies. I like that added level of difficulty, but that cover-up it was distracting on all levels. Style-wise, it was distracting. The length was just awkward. It was just a no. It was just a no. Just a tidbit when it comes to mentioning the level of difficulty, I'm happy that there were a few stairs on the stage. There was like 4 steps that the girls had to come down, and then they had them doing a turn and then walking off. I liked that. I like that we're getting, more. We're not just having them walk, we're getting more. We're having the stairs, we're having the different positions where they stop, the turns. I like the variety, that's great. The styling for swimsuit competition was atrocious. And whoever made those decisions, you should not be in charge of any creative decisions henceforth. Before we get into my top 20s list, I do have 20 ladies. I believe the official competition is going to cut it down to 16. I'm just going to do a full top 20 so we have a good spectrum of who may or may not be switching spots, because interview is going to change up some things. But I do have my full top 20s list, which, no lie, I have rewritten about 6 times, and I kept ripping it out of the book and reformulating. There's a few ladies that I did want to discuss. The way that and some of you realized this during the Instagram live, that I do not write down every contestant that is participating in competition. I write them down as they come out during swimwear, and I'm able to tell within the first 5 to 10 seconds if this woman is even worthy of my attention, if she even has a chance of making the top 30 of the contestants. If I feel like she's not even gonna make it into the top half of contestants, there's no point in me writing her down. So a lot of the girls didn't even get written down, and we did do the count at the end of the Instagram live. At the end of preliminary competition, I only had 34 contestants written down and fully scored. Of all the girls that competed, I only had 34 of the contestants even written for a score, and then I had to eliminate 14 of them to get to my 20. There were a few women who initially made the list during swimwear and then I crossed them off during evening gown. Brazil was one of these women, and I'm bringing her up specifically because god dang it, that dress. No, no more broken mirror dresses, no more Chesley dresses, no more of those dresses. I just talked about it in my Miss Grand reaction. Yo, pipe down with the motorcycles, okay? Have several seats or bugger off. I just discussed that dress, ironically, in my Miss Grand reaction video with my mother. It's because somebody, I think it was South Africa, wore a similar dress to that or something. Maybe it wasn't South Africa. Maybe it was, I forgot the name, but it's there in the Grand reaction. I'm tired of seeing that gown. It's gross. It's ugly. I don't like it. I'm sorry to be so harsh about it, but it's just like whoever's designing these gowns isn't getting the hint. Stop having women wear those gowns. No matter what cut you put it in, it ain't cute. It's not cute. And honestly, Brazil would have been okay, but her performance, even had she had a fantastic, miraculous gown, her performance was really awkward and she got cut out at evening gown portion. I'm sorry, Brazil is not on the list. Another person that is not on the list, Thailand, which is funny because I actually had Thailand on my top 15s list for my preliminaries favorites. But after this prelims competition, Thailand is not on my top 20s favorites list. Now, I will say Thailand has improved with her walk, thank God. It's not nearly as heavy as it was. It's much more smooth. And I can see that her coaches were being very conservative in the amount of technical skills that they were going to have her display on that stage. Thailand did not do any, turns, any quick movements. It was very calculated. It was very structured. And one thing Thailand is really good at is using her face. Like, she really will use her face in a way that a lot of you other ladies, some of these other women, were not using their faces. Thailand never struggled with using her face. It was really just the legs and the technical skills, which I can see the coaches worked to smooth out because it was much more graceful, much more natural, much more controlled. Like, it was better, but it still wasn't enough, in my opinion, to go up against the heavy hitters. And after viewing prelims, a lot of us know there were some serious heavy hitters in competition. And no matter how well Thailand interviews, which I'm sure she does, and she has this very fantastic personality, so does the United States. So does USA. So does she. There's a lot of women who have that ability. So her interview skills aren't going to save her. Even if Thailand were to sneak her way into finals, which she might, because, sometimes Miss Universe loves to just throw a girl in simply because of interview, and they completely discount performance as if it means nothing. Thailand's not going to win the Mawad crown. I don't see that as a possibility at all. And people need to get out of their feelings and suck it up. This is a competition. And I know that they're pretty women, and I know that you love them, and some of you are emotionally attached to them. I don't want to see any crying in the comments section. I don't care how old you are. This is a competition, same as soccer, same as cricket, same as football, same as anything else. And I don't hear anybody getting in their feelings when someone's criticizing a football player or a soccer player for missing a goal or missing a touchdown. You're being too harsh on their catching ability. He really tried. Nobody cares. Competition. And your competitors don't care about your feelings either. These ladies have worked their entire lives, some of them for years, to get this crown. That is just the way it is. So when we start talking about competitions in the future and ladies to look out for and skills that need to be improved, take it, use it to develop or lose. John, I'm working.
Oh, I'm sorry.
See? You're on camera now.
Yay!
For the first time in the history of this court and the Miss Universe competition here in my kingdom, the Philippines is not on my predicted finals list. And that live reaction to the Philippines is once again available on my Instagram. And a lot of us were of the same mindset when we saw the Philippines completing her 2 segments of competition. During the Instagram live, I had my desktop computer, which had the competition on it. And then I had my phone with the live stream and comments, and I had my laptop that was also connected to the Discord, which is linked below in the description box if you want to talk to other pageant fans. So I was talking to as many people as possible during competition, kind of watching, engaging everybody else's reaction. And we were watching the Philippines come out, and we had hope, for the first 10 seconds. We're just like, okay, let her get down the stairs. Let's see what happens. The Philippines still has a very good technical skill level. She's able to walk no problem. The problem is with the Philippines, she just gives us nothing. She's not bad. She's just, as I said before, satisfactory. She's just there. She did not change her face, and I honestly couldn't believe it. I've never seen a Filipina really hold the same stagnant smile ever for an entire length of competition. And this Miss Universe Philippines did it twice. She did it in swimwear and evening gown, which I was just baffled to see. You can go back and rewatch it. She kept the exact same smile the whole way through. And when you do that, not only does it come off as unnatural, it makes your audience feel uncomfortable. It makes it seem like you're uncomfortable because it goes against natural human emotion to just keep the same face constantly. How many faces have you guys seen me make within the span of 10 seconds in this video? Like, it's very unnatural. And for a competitor who's supposed to be performing on stage, who's supposed to be showcasing herself, if all you're giving us is a basic smile, like, that's something I expect from a 5-year-old on picture day. I expect a Miss Universe competitor to really showcase herself, to really, show us your emotions, show us how you feel, walk us through your experience on the stage. We're here to see you, and that should be a very powerful feeling. So for you to be in front of hundreds of thousands of people, whether it be live or from a camera, for you to just sit there and all you can give us is a very adolescent, like, ID picture day smile is disheartening, especially, and it's very disheartening coming from a powerhouse country. And I did warn some of you in my preliminary favorites list, like, she wasn't very high on my list then. And I let you guys know several times, there will come a time where the Philippines does not make finals. There will come a time where the Philippines isn't one of the best competitors out there. And it happens to every country, so you guys are just going to have to deal with that. And do not go after the competitor who is still in competition, making her feel like crap, okay? The Philippines arguably has the largest magnifying glass on their competitor, and you guys really have an ability that other countries don't. You have a power that other countries don't to really overuse that magnifying glass to the point where you fry your queen like an ant. It's just so much attention. It can be so much backlash. You don't mean it to be or come off as harsh or mean, as it does, but because of the overall strength of the fan base of the Philippines, your words have the ability to hurt a contestant more than any other country, arguably, there is. So no, this competitor isn't doing very well in competition, but I do not want anyone to go after her or, call her mean names or be like, oh, you're the worst thing ever. That's not going to help anybody. And also, crying in my comments section about her not being present on my favorites lists isn't going to change anything. It never has, and you guys know I've never been the person to just change my list without reason. I cannot come up for a reason for the Philippines to be higher or even on my list above any of these other women. I am not going to negate what these women have earned to appease a fan base. This is just the facts and reality of competition. We will see what happens come finals, and maybe she will kick it up a notch. We'll just have to wait and see. So let us finally get into, I know, right, finally, the top 20s favorites list of mine. At number 20, I have Bolivia. '19, Nigeria. 18, Curacao. 17, Peru. 16, South Africa. 15, USA. USA. She is a consistent competitor, and she knows how to walk. She knows how to present on stage. She's not the most captivating stage performer, but once again, consistency. I did have a problem with her evening gown styling, mostly just her hair. When you have such, and I do believe that's a Michael Cinco gown. Typically, I can point it out when I can just look at a gown and I know it's Michael Cinco. I'm pretty sure that's a Michael Cinco gown. But her gown is such an eye-catching thing. It has this asymmetrical sleeve with this big accent on one shoulder. Her hair is also a statement piece, and it can be a bit much put together. I think her hair probably should have been pulled all the way back and just into like a tight bun and just really showcase her beautiful face. The evening gown styling, not the evening gown itself. The evening gown itself is fine, but the styling overall was a bit of a miss. But presentation wise, the United States is very consistently good. And she is a journalist, newscast reporter. She's used to talking to people. She's used to doing basically what I do. And after watching her during her national competition, I know the girl can speak. I know she can captivate a room. She can wow some judges. So even though the United States isn't one of the best stage performers, she's not one of the people that I would put super high up on the list. I do believe that her interview skills and her personality is going to tip the scales in her favor and put her into finals. 14, Vietnam. I do want to talk about Vietnam. Vietnam, I'm happy to see that she was very fresh on stage. She was very relatable, very natural. Her smiles came off as authentic. She really seemed like she was having fun. She's not as tailored and trained as some of the other girls, but she seemed like she was just a bundle of joy on stage, which is great. I'm a little bit unsure about her ability to interview, which is why she isn't super high on the list. That is my concern with Vietnam. Otherwise, I feel like she score-wise, she ranked a couple spots higher than where I have her. But because I know that like USA is going to interview better than she will, the Bahamas is likely going to interview better than she will, that's what brought her down a little bit. I'm concerned about Vietnam's interview skills and question and answer capabilities. But on stage presentation, she was fun to watch. 13, Colombia. Colombia, this I think will be a controversial placement. We talked about this in the Instagram live stream as it was happening. You guys heard it coming out of my mouth. Colombia is incredibly consistent, but I have seen more energy, more relatability, more fun come from Colombia when I watched her during Miss Earth. And I felt like as I was watching her during prelims, I could see how nervous she was. I could see that she was a little bit uncomfortable, maybe a little bit unsure. I was not getting the amount of confidence from Colombia that I feel like I should have gotten from her, especially being a woman of such a high caliber, of such great beauty. I feel like I should have gotten more. Colombia really just wasn't giving me that confidence. She's very graceful, elegant, very poised on stage, but we weren't getting a lot of the facial change, a lot of the face play. She really held the same smile sometimes. I have seen Valeria do better, and I know that she's capable of better. And if you were to compare the performances of Colombia with like my top 5 girls, I feel like you would be able to see a very stark contrast in the performance ability and capability of the contestants. Colombia is going to have to kick it up energy-wise, confidence-wise, in order to rank higher on the list and have a better shot at the Mawad crown. And it really does put into my mind thinking about how well she might have done during interview. Because if I'm picking up on her insecurities or lack of confidence or energy in the performance area of competition, which arguably is her best segment of competition, how then did she fare during the interview process? Because if you're not giving confidence on stage, are you really going to do it when all of the judges are right in your face? I am worried about Colombia. She's still very good, well polished and everything, but especially with a panel full of nothing but women, women really pick up on a lack of confidence. We're like piranhas. We smell blood in the water, and that makes me worry for her. 12, Dominican Republic. 11, the Bahamas. So my bottom 10 list is the part of the list I struggled with the most, because this is really where interview is really going to come into play, is with those bottom, Well, actually it's going to be like 16 through 11 because they're only choosing 16 girls, but I have 20. So yeah, I really struggled with that portion the most. My top 10, I'm pretty happy with. Now, I did not change my top 10 from what the actual scores ranked them as, meaning my top 10 is completely ranked off of swimwear and evening gown. And I had a lot of faith in my top 10 that their interview skills would keep them in a pretty decent spot. So I have no problem with my top 10. I really do have faith in those girls. Now, below the top 10, is where I had to make a few changes based on what I know about who does really well in interview, who's got really great personality. So the bottom 10 were a little bit more difficult for me. The Bahamas score-wise would have been lower than some of the other ladies, but I know, and even is demonstrated by the fact that the Bahamas won one of the special awards, the Carnival Award. The Bahamas, I know, has a great personality and can speak, and her performance actually was very well tailored. It needs to be a little bit more natural and energetic, but she has a well-rounded performance to where I still believe that she's going to make finals. Now let's hop into my top 10. At number 10, I have Mexico. I didn't get to do an update of my preliminary favorites before I got sick with pneumonia, but Mexico was one of the women that I put into my list, and she was higher ranked in my list because I saw that she was really developing through her rehearsals and her practicing, and it did come off on stage. She was very natural on stage, and I know that she had the snafu where she got her evening gown caught on one of the steps, and she kept trying to like walk away, and the gown really was caught, but she handled it well. She didn't get flustered, and she kept it moving. Mexico remained consistent through both segments of competition, and I do really have faith in her ability to speak. So she, I don't think, should have a problem making it into finals. At number 9, I have Argentina. Argentina actually started off in her national competition as a blonde, and she has been on my preliminary favorites list since, months ago, and she really has maintained her ability to showcase herself on a stage. She was very graceful. I mean, very regal, very soft, very controlled, but at the same time, I felt that her smile was genuine. It really seemed like she knew what she was doing. She seemed very comfortable. She was really giving me old school Hollywood glam. And I just got the feeling of strength for her. It really didn't seem like she was insecure or nervous at all. She just totally seemed like she was at home, and the girl was beautiful every step of the way. So as long as she can keep up with interview and she didn't get flustered or flubbed or anything, Argentina has a great shot at continuing into finals. At number 8, I have France. And I was in my Instagram live. I was before competition even started. I was like, you guys, if France doesn't come out and kill this, if France doesn't do the damn thing, if France doesn't give me something after 2 years of preparation, France deserves to be banned for at least 2 to 3 years from Miss Universe, because you have had the most time to prepare. This competition honestly should belong to France. France should own this competition. France should easily sweep this competition because Clemence has had so much time to prepare. If you don't know, Clemence was supposed to perform in Miss Universe, in 2020, or was it 2019? I feel like it was 2020. She got skipped over because she had to be certain places and participate in certain things that prevented her from going to Miss Universe. So she switched places with other delegates that were coming from France. So she's had the most time of any competitor on this current stage to prepare. And I'm thinking, if France doesn't come out the woodwork with something great, I'm going to be highly disappointed. Like, I'm coming on camera with an attitude, France. And you know what? She didn't disappoint. She really didn't. I do believe there was a spot where she kind of fell out of a turn just slightly, but overall, her presentation was fun. She was giving change of face. She was flirting. She was flaunting. She was executing the elements of each segment of competition with pretty damn good decency. I mean, the knees were straight, the faces were playing. She did her turns. I am satisfied as of right now with the performance that France brought. She didn't seem insecure. She really seemed like she had a good command of what she was doing on stage, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful because I really would have been disappointed had France just showed up after all this time and gave us nothing. Like, just give me nothing, girl. Just give me Germany. I'm sorry, like some of y'all, Romania, Germany, look, even Netherlands, like we could have kicked it up. Okay, let's continue on with the list because I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just saying, do better. At number 7, I have Venezuela. Ever the consistent competitor, Luiseth Materan is the competitor for Venezuela. And as I have said, Venezuela has always sent, no matter what competition I watch, Venezuela always sends a well-trained queen. The problem that I see with a lot of Venezuelan competitors, as I have said in previous videos, is the lack of authenticity. They are so focused on their training and the precision of their poses and their faces and the structure of their presentation, they forget to have fun. They forget to be themselves. They forget to be natural, and we can see it. It comes off as very inauthentic. I was waiting to see what Luiseth would do on stage because I'm like, is she going to give me face play or is she just going to give me perfect little Barbie face? Now, she did change her face several times and she still kept that well-trained technique as she was performing, which is why she's number 7 on my list. But she still needs to have more authenticity to draw in an audience. We still need that energy. We still need that personality. That's what I'm missing from Venezuela. I want to see her personality. I want to see you have fun. I want to see you let loose just a little bit. Have confidence in yourself and don't be so worried about your technique and don't be so worried about what you have to do next and the placement and everything. Yes, she's very good. I mean, she's one of the, if I had to discern who of all the competitors were the best trained, like who was the most well-trained competitors, Venezuela would easily be in my top 3 of like who had the best training. Like she's got that. So she just needs the personality part, the inside part of who she is to come out and flourish and bring that in front of the audience. And I think that will serve her greatly in her ambitions to grab a Miss Universe crown. At number 6, I have Belgium. Belgium surprised me. I saw that she was on a lot of people's lists, but based on what I had seen from her, I knew that she could speak, but I was not really confident in her performance abilities. But Belgium practiced. Belgium clearly rehearsed, and Belgium came out looking like a queen. I do want to say, and I'm doing this from memory, but I tend to remember a lot of things, especially about pageants. Belgium's evening gown, the top of that gown was not well tailored. That was not a well fitted gown for Belgium. I do love the necklace that she wore. It came off as very queenly. It's almost like a choker, but not quite a choker. It was very beautiful, but the lack of fit or the poor fitting of the top of that gown around her bust was so distracting. Every time she moved, the piece of fabric would just like pop out another side. And I'm just like, that gown was so ill-fitted. But the performance was still very graceful and very regal and very queenly. Belgium has done better than I expected her to. So welcome to the top, girl. All right, here we go. Top 5. At number 5, I have Panama. Yes, she is still in my top 5. Panama always comes out with personality, flavor. She comes out like she's ready to have fun, like she's been waiting for this moment and she knows what she wants to do and she knows what she wants to show and she does it. Now, there are some things about Panama's performance that bugged me a little bit. Panama does tend to be very twitchy and switchy. When she walks, she tends to have these very sharp movements. It's not very smooth, and that can be a little bit awkward to view and a little bit unnatural. But she's able to hang on to it just due to her sheer confidence and personality and the amount of fun that she's having on stage, on top of just the consistency as a great competitor. She is a performer. Panama is always fun to watch, no matter how we're viewing her. She's captivating to look at. Now, these little twitchy movements don't play off so well when it comes to an evening gown performance. Of course, it was more subtle during her evening gown, but I could still see it. And in an evening gown performance, we really want those movements to be smooth. Both performances, honestly, swimwear and evening gown should be very fluid, but evening gown more so is much more regal and smooth than obviously swimwear. So she just has some really quirky habits when it comes to her walk. But other than that, I mean, Panama's consistent. She's been consistently great and she's in my top 5. Boom. At number 4, I have Paraguay. I mean, this girl, she's proved herself to me. She has proved herself to me. I had questions about Paraguay because she was my number 15 in my preliminary favorites, because I was looking at her and I understood that a lot of people loved her because she's a gorgeous girl. But I had seen no demonstrative ability that would suggest to me that she should be anywhere even near my top 10. I'm like, what are you guys looking at that is making you think that she's like number 1, that she's just like the best? Because I hadn't seen anything of her performance-wise. And then I watch prelims and out pops a queen. Out pops a queen. I mean, Paraguay, she heard what was going on. She's been practicing. I don't know what's going on, but she came out and killed it. Killed it in both elements of competition. Swimwear, evening gown, like she just came out. She came out in her evening gown. It was flowy. She gave us a smooth turn. She was giving us faces, a little bit of sauciness. I was not expecting what I got from Paraguay. It's like going to like a hole in the wall sushi restaurant, and it turns out the sushi is like 5-star sushi. Like who saw that coming from? I know some of you saw it coming, but I was thoroughly surprised. Either way, she is in my top 5. At number 3, I have Spain. Spain has been on my preliminary favorites, like top whatever. She's been up there. She's been high on the list since before competition, and she has risen up after preliminaries. Spain is amazing. Spain is a queen. Spain is giving me Miss Universe energy. My top 3 competitors could be crowned Miss Universe easily. Easily. This is where the fight is. The top three are just batting beyond their league. Spain, her face. I mean, Spain is giving not just like a Miss Universe energy, but a really good Miss Universe energy. Like she knows how to use her face. She knows how to captivate an audience. She knows how to energize people. She knows how to just showcase herself. Her facial exchanges are unlike most of the women in this competition. What really separates my top 3 from everybody else is their ability to use their face. It is one thing to be able to have straight knees. It's one thing to be able to execute a turn. It's one thing to have a nice smile and just be able to hold it through the entire competition like some of you girls insisted on doing. It's weird. It's awkward. Stop doing it. But the top 3 girls, they exchange and showcase their emotions in such a natural, effortless, enticing way that it is just captivating to watch. Spain came out, she gave us face, we're staring. She's coming down the stairs, she's changing her face, she looks at the judges, and you can see in her eyes that she's greeting the judges, but at the same time she's performing and showcasing. She looks out into the audience with this confidence, and then she gets to the end of the runway and does her turn and changes her face and looks directly out. Like you can feel every instance, every moment of her performance, and that's just in her face. Forget her body, forget her dress, forget her styling. She's using her face to at like the 100th degree with all the power that she's got, and it has landed her in my top 3. At number two, I had a moment. On my number 2. I encourage everybody to go to my Instagram and find the moment where I reacted to my number 2 in real time, because boy, was that a reaction. And for those of you who saw it, man, you guys were flipping out, and I was flipping out, and I couldn't handle it, and I couldn't take it. I couldn't handle the faces. I couldn't handle the surprise. I could not handle India coming in at number 2. Bye. Bye-bye. All right. Ooh, yes, India. Ooh, yes, India. Ooh, yes, babe. Ooh, yes. Ooh.
This 21-year-old.
Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you. Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, yep. India's so far she's my favorite. Oh my God. So far she's my favorite. Oh my God. The girl burst down the doors. She knew what she wanted. She knew what she was getting into. India, when she came out, she was like acting like she had been backstage clawing at the walls to get on stage. Like India seemed like she could not wait to step foot on the stage and showcase what she had. India held nothing back. Nothing. Not the body, not the face. The turns were executed. Everything was amazing. She gave the energy. She like wanted it. India was coming out like she wanted it, you guys. Like I could feel it in her blood. Oh my gosh. And there was, you guys, she'll get to the end of the runway and India doesn't just smile. And this is the power of faces. This is why I try to let people know, because when you look into somebody's eyes, forget competition, just day to day, a lot of the times as human beings, we can see and feel their emotions. If someone's sad, we can see it. If someone's happy or excited, we can see it. If someone's lying to you, you should be able to see it most of the time, right? The eyes and the face have a lot of power. So when India, she'll get to the end of the runway, right? And she has this great technique, and everything's in place, styling's on point, but she'll get to the end of the runway and really just display this emotion of power and confidence and will and just pure authority and faith in herself. And you can see every bit of it on top of a little Santi, like flossy little saunter away after she does it, as if she knows that she did really well. You can see every bit of India's confidence, and it is so infectious. Go and find that reaction where I reacted to India because I wouldn't shut up about her. I was like 3-4 girls deep past India in competition, and I'm still like fanning myself over India's performance. The girl came out and killed it. I wanted to pause, and I tried so hard not to pause anything because I wanted to keep up with the live stream. I needed to like pause so that I could have a breath after India because the girl killed me. Like, I was freaking out. You guys go find the reaction. I will try to throw in some of the reactions, but I just go to my Instagram and find it because I was tripping out about India. And there is only one girl who can take on India. There's only one. There's only one girl who's staring India into her little tiger eyes and saying, hold on, girl, wait. I want this crown too. Only one girl. And that one girl is my number one spot. And that number one spot still to this day is Puerto Rico. Yes, Puerto Rico is still my number one spot. Still my number one spot. In fact, Puerto Rico is so assuredly my number one spot that when I saw her during evening gown, I just circled her and put a star. I just circled her and put a star. That's all I did. Even during swimwear, the first time I saw her during swimwear and I watched her and we were 20 seconds into her performance, I put a star. Because I knew she was one of my top 2. I knew that. India, I had already seen. So I was just like, by the time you get to Puerto Rico, you're pretty much done with competition almost. And I'm like, USA ain't coming for Puerto Rico. There's plenty of y'all are not coming for Puerto Rico, okay? So I knew it was India and Puerto Rico. And then I got to evening gown and I just knew that she was still my number one. It's just, Puerto Rico legit didn't even get a score from me. She didn't need one. No score was needed. The girl comes out like it's her house. She treats the stage like it's her bedroom. She just flaunts and walks and saunters and throws hair and says hi to everybody. How you doing? She treats the whole room like it's her house and you're just a guest in it. And the level of confidence and play, and I'm just like, oh my God. Puerto Rico's one of these women where when you're just judging and you're sitting here writing stuff down, she comes out and you just watch her and you're just like, what's the point in judging? What's the point in just give her the crown? Just give her the crown. Like there's nothing to judge. What are you looking at? Her hands are fine. Her hair is fine. Her faces are on point. She's having fun. She's flaunting. No technical issues. Just watch the show. Just put down your pen and watch the show. And it's Puerto Rico's show right now. She has not slipped once. Ain't slipped once. She is the unstoppable force. And I don't understand why someone hasn't locked her in her hotel room yet. Y'all are about to lose this crown to Puerto Rico if somebody doesn't step up and do something. There are some ladies that are on her heels, but Puerto Rico has been the only person that I've had at the top of my list for months, you guys. Ever since we started ranking women, Puerto Rico's been the only one that I've had at my number one spot. So good luck to everybody trying to take her down, because you're gonna need to do a lot, and I mean a lot. In the comment section below, let me know who is your top 10 and top 5 favorites vying for the crown. Who's on your list that isn't on my list? Do you think I overlooked some people? How would you shuffle up the list? Do you still think the Philippines or Thailand has a chance to go up against some of these heavy hitters? Let us know in the comment section your thoughts of the preliminary competition for Miss Universe 2021 going into Miss Universe 2022. Is this considered Miss Universe 2022? The years are always super weird and I can just never get it right. Either way, comments in the comments section below. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, and remember, if you are not a member of the court, consider hitting the subscribe button. Everybody is lovely and fabulous here, and we love to talk about pageants amongst other things, and we would love to have you amongst us, our fabulous friends. I love you and I will miss you, but you know I will be back for finals night. Bye.